Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and we will be talking about Zidane wanting Pogba and the ramifications of that. There's also a little bit of interesting stuff about Thomas Partey, Adama Traore, Upamecano, but we're going to start off with some positive news, and this is coming from Kieran McKenna, who's one of the key coaches at Manchester United. He's been talking about a potential return date for Manchester United and Premier League football, and he's also said that he expects a fully fit squad, Rashford, Pogba, everybody back when United come back, and they're working towards the 7th of May, which is when the next lockdown deadline is in the UK. They're working towards it being eased off a little bit and allowing them to do some sort of training. That is their plan A, which would then mean a Premier League return around the start of June. However, he did say we have got a plan B and C ready if we can't go with plan A. But positive that Manchester United are looking and working towards a return to training of some sort around early May, which, look, if the Bundesliga is going to start playing around early May, then hopefully the Premier League will be back. But obviously we must be guided by, you know, the health and safety of everybody, and that's the most important thing. But as I've always said, if Manchester United and all the Premier League clubs are allowed to be back training in early May, that means the general picture around the world and in the UK especially would be better than it is now. So fingers crossed on that, a bit of positivity out of Manchester United. Also around Manchester United, we have a story coming from L'Equipe, I never know how to pronounce it, French outlet, middle of the road, sometimes good, sometimes a bit speculative. They're saying that Zinedine Zidane is still intent on bringing Paul Pogba to Manchester United this summer. Also a story from Tuttosport, again middle of the road sort of outlet in Italy, saying that Inter Milan are interested in Paul Pogba. I don't see how Inter Milan can sign Paul Pogba, and I think let's just park that in the bullshit drawer, to be honest, because he loves Juventus. I don't think Inter Milan have got the money, and he wouldn't go to Inter Milan. He'll go to Madrid or he'll go to Juventus, and he'll probably go to Madrid if he's about to go. But what I thought about this story when I read it was that Manchester United apparently were willing to take around 100 million euros last summer, and now that'll be a lot cheaper. I mean, I don't know why is that? Why is Sancho's price not coming down, but Pogba's price is coming down? And we don't know how the transfer window is going to work. But what I would say is this. At the moment, we're living in a period of calm. There is no Solskjaer in or Solskjaer out, and there shouldn't be. There is no get this player out, he's crap, get that player in. Not really, because I think we're all learning in this time of no football and lockdown and lots of people dying. I think there's a unity in the human race, in society, with a lot of people, and I don't think people really want to be moaning. That's something when football comes back, and maybe we won't moan like we used to do before. So there is a calm around society in general, like I say, and people want to find the positives and have the deeper conversations rather than just be moaning and moaning, because those passions aren't there at the moment. With Pogba, I feel he's going to stay, but is that because of the lockdown aura, where we're all just quite, let's get him back, he's probably going to feel happier in the team and he'll stay? That might not, what I'm trying to say is that might not be the case. Pogba, Mourinho, Raiola may still be 100% sure that they want to leave United for this, and why wouldn't they be? What's changed over the last year? Last summer, adamant they wanted to go, didn't get their move, hardly played this season. What's changed for Pogba and Mino Raiola? I mean, Mino Raiola in the summer was only, in January, a couple of months ago, was slating Manchester United. What's changed, apart from the fact we're in lockdown and it would be absolutely career suicide to start saying I want to leave Manchester United? He's not going to do that at the moment, but maybe he still does want to go. And if he does want to go, what's changed him to not want to go? Oh, Manchester United have signed Bruno. He's not a bloody fan. He's a footballer at the top of his game. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Paul Pogba, and I think also that if he does want to go, there'll be a time where he says, I want to go, and it won't be now. So this Zidane story, I think it's interesting. It could be a load of crap, but on the other hand, it could be, let's roll that out. It's not from Pogba, it's not from Mino Raiola, it's from Real Madrid, it's from the manager, it's through a French outlet, he's French, Paul Pogba's French, Zidane wants Pogba, and then Pogba sat there thinking, yeah, I want that move as well, and it just starts to stir it up again. I think Pogba will stay, but I think this is a relevant story that just stirs the pot up a little bit, and will it start to bubble? Because it will go one or two ways, and it's like De Gea over the years. Real Madrid start dropping their stories out. We really want the player. We can't be more clearer than that. Bit like United with Sancho. nobody's under any illusion that we want Sancho, and it puts the ball into the court of Dortmund. And this, if Real Madrid start doing this with Pogba, we want him, we want him, we want him. You put the ball into United. United will say we're not selling him for less than this. In fact, we're not selling him. But what does Pogba do? Does Pogba say, I want the move and push it? It's a very difficult summer transfer window to do that, but it doesn't mean that it won't happen. I still think Pogba will stay, but I would keep an eye on that because that's coming from Madrid and that's using Zidane. And we know from what Pogba said in the past, it's his dream to play with Zidane or something like that last summer. I think he said it. And it probably is. But it's how much he's going to push it. And the press can be used to push it. So let's keep an eye on that. Going to Sancho. Interesting story on Sancho. Hudson-Odoi, out, Chelsea right winger, coming out and saying that him and Sancho are really close. They've got great chemistry. When they play together, it's great. And he'd love to see him at Chelsea. One thing I would say about this is, I don't really read into too much stuff like this. Oh, we're great mates. We used to play on the swings together. Oh, you know, he used to push me on the roundabout. We played England youth football together. I don't care. Like, I really don't care because there's loads of great mates in football and they don't play together. That's, you know, it's part and parcel. You know, McManaman and Michael and Robbie Fowler were great friends. McManaman still went to Real Madrid. Robbie Fowler didn't. So it doesn't matter how great friends you are. And, you know, York and Cole at United, they didn't stay together for the rest of their career. You go and do what's best for your career. So I'm not bothered about that. I'm also a little bit confused how Hudson-Odoi and Sancho play so well together and would be great for Chelsea when you both play as right wing. Neither of you are a striker. And if you play right wing and left wing, you're on the other side of the pitch. So your great chemistry, I don't care. It doesn't take rocket science to figure out Hudson-Odoi and Sancho's great chemistry is irrelevant because if you're both on the same pitch, one's going to have to go on the other side of it. And neither are a striker to play close together and neither is a centre midfielder. So I just thought that straight away as well. So I'm not concerned about that, but it has come out from the words of Hudson-Odoi. Another interesting one is the agent of Adama Traore. Now, we're all in for Sancho. That's what we want. That's what Manchester United want. That's what Manchester United fans want. If it didn't happen, where else would you look? Now, I mentioned Adama Traore of Wolves a couple of weeks ago and said that Zaha and Adama Traore would be quite interesting options because they're both Premier League proven. Adama Traore's agent quite openly talking about, you know, what a horrible situation this is, but Adama Traore's had a very good season and basically saying that it's a real shame because this summer would have been a big opportunity for Adama Traore to get a move. That's how I read it. But he also said you just don't know what the situation's going to be. Now look, is that disrespectful to Wolves? No. Is it part and parcel of football? Yes. Could it be being part of the process of getting a new deal at Wolves? Because if you're Adama Traore, if you're not going to a United or an Arsenal or a Spurs, then you're not really interested in an Everton. I think Wolves are better than an Everton. So I think he'd be looking for a new contract or maybe a move. What that means for Manchester United, I don't know, but it's just interesting that his agent is basically saying that, you know, Adama Traore would have been in the shop window this summer after the season that he's had. And many of you quite like him. So, you know, if the Sancho deal didn't work out, there is a possibility there with Adama Traore. But for me, I like Adama Traore. But it's a big difference with Jadon Sancho, and you want the best you can get at United, and that to me is going to be a Jadon Sancho on that one. Also wanted to talk about Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey, Mundo Deportivo. Again, I mean, quite a few middle of the road sort of outlets today. Tutto Sport, L'Equipe, Mundo Deportivo, all three of those pretty much middle of the road. I'd say if you had a tier process, I'd say they're sort of 50-50 on their reliability. They're not up there like a Fabrizio Romano or a Simon Stone or a Simon Peach, but they're certainly not down there like a Daily Star or something like that. So the middle of the road. They're saying that Manchester United have renewed their interest in Thomas Partey, which I think to many of us would be very, very encouraging. This is, I mean, there's not a lot in it. There's not a lot in it. It just says Manchester United have renewed their interest in Thomas Partey, and a lot of this is after his performances in the Champions League against Liverpool. I would be somewhat dubious about this one as well. Why would it take Thomas Partey playing well against Liverpool twice to renew your interest? If you know anything about him, he's perfectly capable of improving Manchester United's midfield. And with that 44 million pound release clause in the modern day, and we'll be talking about another player in the modern day that's very reasonably priced. But yeah, Thomas Partey at that price would be very, very, very exciting for Manchester United. I do agree with a lot of people on social media, and I've said it myself. I personally think Ndidi's the better signing. We did 5 centre defensive midfielders Manchester United could sign this summer earlier on in the week, and Ndidi came out as my number 1 choice ahead of Partey, because I do think that I saw a couple of fairly big Man United Twitter accounts yesterday saying that Thomas Partey is the perfect centre defensive midfielder for Manchester United, and I think you don't watch Atletico Madrid, mate. Like, you don't. I think Thomas Partey could be a good centre defensive midfielder for Manchester United, but he doesn't actually play centre defensive midfield as much as he plays box to box. So Thomas Partey, I think, could be a centre defensive midfielder, but he's not a Fabinho, he's not a Rodri, he's not a Jorginho, he's not a Matic. He doesn't just sit there and do that job. There's far more to his game, and you would have to adapt his game to that. He's more of a Fred position, that sort of grafting box-to-box sort of thing. All right, 70% more on the defensive side, but certainly goes forward. United needs someone to shield the back four and sit and do it. And to me, the only person that does that job exclusively and does it very, very well is Ndidi. He is a centre defensive midfielder. Now, you could turn Partey into a permanent CDM, and he can definitely do it. But I do think we need to be very careful about the Partey and Ndidi comparison, because Ndidi is a specialist CDM. Partey can do that job, but actually has other elements to his game as well. But look, I'd be over the moon if we did it. Do I believe we're in for him? Just feels like Thomas Partey is going to sign a new contract, and I've been saying that for a few weeks now. If you actually follow the Thomas Partey story, everything sort of suggests that he will sign a new contract and is in negotiations with Madrid, which is hence why I think the Arsenal story was there, and maybe now the United story is to give Atletico Madrid, in a time of financial uncertainty, a kick up the backside to renew his contract, I think. But look, if he comes to United, I'd be very excited by that deal. I really would. Also, L'Equipe, going back again to them, or L'Equipe, they are talking about Upamecano, who a lot of you want to sign as a centre-back from RB Leipzig. So Upamecano apparently has, and this is from the article, has got a €60 million clause, which is around £50 million, which, to be honest with you, I think is a fair price to play. If you think about, we paid £80 million for Harry Maguire, and you could get... And City paid 60 or 50 million for John Stone a few years ago. So you could get Upamecano for just over 50 million pounds. Maybe even less in the current climate. But 50 million pounds for Upamecano, who's in his early 20s and is considered to be one of the best young centre-backs playing at the highest level in the world at the moment. He has got injury concerns. For me, I'd be looking for something a little bit different. But that is an interesting deal, and he favours a move to the Premier League apparently, and also he just wants to go to a club that's going to be successful where he can play first team football. Playing time's very important to him, and I look at the clubs that are in for him. Well, Arsenal, he will play every week, he will play every minute of every week, but he ain't going to be successful there because they're not going to win anything. Manchester United is interesting, but he would have to dislodge Bailly or Lindelof or maybe even Twansebi to play with Maguire, which he probably could do, and I don't know that Man City would go for him. I don't know that Liverpool would go for him with his injury record. So look, there is an opportunity there for Manchester United and Upamecano. I guess we'll just have to see, but it certainly is. I think as we reflect over the working week, Monday to Friday this week on the Man United news and transfer news shows, the player that's sort of come out of this the most probably is Upamecano. But certainly over the last 7 days, he's been the player that's been coming out quite a lot with links to Manchester United. So we'll just have to see how that develops, like I say. On Pogba, you know what? It's all about Pogba. We're going to get lots of stories about Pogba because he's high profile, but also there's massive uncertainty about him. It's not like Harry Kane to United where it's not going to happen. But hey, that sounds really that's a big story. Pogba leaving Manchester United or Pogba staying at Manchester United, it's a massive story because we know he wanted to leave last summer. Has that changed now? Is the money there for him to go? It makes it interesting, and I think with Pogba, as I said, I'm going to stick with the scenario that he's going to stay, but it will always be 3 scenarios. 1, he'll force the move. 2, he'll stay for a year and force the move. 3, he'll sign the new contract. Now, 3 or 1 are the best solutions for United. He goes and you replace him, or he stays long term. But staying for another year and basically saying I'll sit tight for a year and I'll get the move I need next summer when it's settled down, that doesn't help us, because then we get another 12 months like the last 12 months where it's constant speculation and constant upheaval. And if we truly are building a future and if we truly are stepping forward, you need Pogba to go or you need Pogba to commit long term. That's the key for United. If he's just going to sit around, I'd rather he just went, because we need that long-termness. But interesting with the Zidane story. Madrid will do what Madrid do. If they want this player and they know this player wants to go, they'll do what they did with Ronaldo, they'll do what they did with De Gea, they'll do what they did with Beckham, they'll do what they did with Van Nistelrooy, they'll do what they do with lots of players that aren't United players. They'll get the word from the player, I want to come, and then they'll start doing their thing. And they'll put the pressure on United. And can United, or is it worth United holding off again if Pogba really wants to go and Madrid want to pay the money? Let's see. Let's wait and see. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. I'm live again at 8 o'clock tonight, of course, and we might have something coming up for you at lunchtime. But if not, have a fantastic day. And it's Friday Night FIFA on Mark Goldbridge. That's football. You can also check out Cooking with Goldbridge on our community page. The link is on that on the YouTube homepage. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.